channel. So today I got a pretty exciting delivery and I wanted to unbox and share it with you guys. It's something I've been wanting for quite a while now, a new kind of a product line that I've been wanting to do with the shop for maybe 2 years. So I've been saving up for a while to purchase one of these machines, and hopefully you guys like what I'm able to create with it. So I'll go ahead and show you what it is. Ta-da! So for those of you who don't actually know what that is, it is a embroidery machine. So I am going to be starting a line of embroidered goods. That's going to include t-shirts, pencil cases, and a few other things. So I bought this one. It is supposed to be one of the best sort of starter embroidery machines, and since I'm only a very small business, I thought that's probably a good place to start. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox the machine and also it's kind of an accessories pack that got sent with the machine, and I'm going to take you guys along with me. Okay, so this is the expansion pack, the accessories items. So this is just a USB stick full of designs from the actual shop that I bought it from, which is a shop called Echidna Sewing, which I think is cute. If you don't know what an echidna is, Google it. It's adorable. Embrilliance. Oh, this is the software suite. So I got some software in it to help me turn my illustrations into embroidery, which is awesome. The actual software itself. And they sent me a pen. That's cute. So there's a little pack of information in here, it looks like. So we've got a pen, what looks like a measuring tape, I'm assuming that's like a cleaning cloth maybe, but it's got their information on it from Echidna Sewing, and then just a little thank you card from Echidna Sewing, which is cool. And join their community and all this, please. Oh, they've got a free gift on here apparently, so that's pretty cool. Go ahead and look that up. Okay, and then got, let's see, congratulations, some important information just about maintaining the product, and warranty, stabilizer guide. So when you do embroidery, you put something called stabilizer on the back of your garment just to make it a little bit more rigid, so that when you do embroidery it doesn't pucker the fabric or result in too much tension or too little tension for the design. Looking to Hemingworth, which I'm assuming is the thread that they've sent me, because I did order a bunch of threads in there. Oh wow, cool. So they've got a color guide, which is really super handy. And some more information on the back. I love color guides for threads because, again, like with my leather stuff, I do a lot of different colors, and it's nice to have those color thread guides to make sure that you're getting the right color when you're ordering thread. So here's some, I think are called curved scissors. So basically it helps you to cut, snip threads, or if you're doing what's called applique, which is embroidery over the top of pieces of fabric on top of a larger piece of fabric like a shirt, you can cut around the smaller pieces of fabric and cut the threads. Ooh, this is huge. Wow, look at that. This is the embroidery recipe, how your ingredients affect your results. Interesting. So it's all about embroidery and how to use your machine and how to get the best results from your embroidery machine. That is amazing. This is the stabilizer that I was talking about before, and I'm assuming that this is all different types of stabilizer. So yeah, you got a wash away stabilizer, which I'm assuming means that it washes off the fabric when you put it through the through your washing machine after you embroider. Cutaway stabilizer, which, as I was saying before, like you use those little curved scissors and you can cut away or tear away the this one's tear away the stabilizer, excess stabilizer after the fact. And Super Solve, top holding down the fabric, used for thick fuzzy fabrics and towels. Okay, that's interesting. We've got some bobbins, some white plastic sided bobbins. So these are the bobbins that go in. If you know anything about sewing, you'll know what a bobbin is. For those of you who don't, the bobbin is basically the bottom thread. The thread that goes on top is the colored thread, and this is the bobbin thread. Normal sewing machines use the same color thread on the top and the bottom, but embroidery machines apparently use just a white or a black thread for the bottom. Aluminum tube spring balancing. So this is supposed to be for checking the tension of your thread. Apparently, if your machine's thread tension is off, it can wreck the whole design. So this is a way for you to actually check that thread tension. Some extra needles for me, which is good, in case one breaks. This is a bit of a hot mess. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, this is a thread stand. So you put your spools of top thread. As I said, those are the ones, your color thread, and that holds them for you as you embroider. And now we've got another, oh, okay, so this is the thread. Hooray! So here is the actual thread. Pop that open, so we'll have a look. So there you go. So that is the actual thread, and there is 5, 10, 15 colors in here. So all different kinds of colors for me to experiment with, which is awesome. That's really pretty. Some purple. These are going to be perfect. Awesome. Okay, so that is the accessories kit. All this back in the box, and we'll go grab the actual machine. So now we're on to the actual machine, and this bad boy is so big that I can't actually get it all into the shot, but we're going to do our best. So let's pop this open. I may actually have to set him down on the floor to get it out. Okay, so to start, we've got some bobbin thread. There's that thread I was talking about before. So if I wanted to wind my own bobbins, they've included a spool of that. We have a chunky instruction manual. We have a cover for the actual machine. We have the embroidery hoop, which this is a pretty good size for me. I think it's going to be great for things like pencil pouches and whatnot. I don't really need a big hoop at this point. So I think the dimensions of this are, from memory, I think it's 4 by 7 inches. I'd have to look it up for the centimeters. For some reason I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'll post it in the description below for those of you who are interested in this machine. For those of you who may not know, this particular machine, the Innovis F440E, is the equivalent of, I believe, the 800 series in the United States. So for those of you who are, because this confused me when I was going to buy this machine, they call it this here in Australia, and I think also in Britain. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, but I know that that's the case for Australia. So if you're looking to buy something that is the equivalent of the 800 series in the US, which a lot of embroidery channels recommend, if you're in Australia, look for this one. Then we have the cord, power cord. And now, there she is. I'm gonna have to put this down on the ground to actually get it out of the box. So it's coming out in two parts. This is the first part of the machine, which is the main body of the machine. You can see there, that's the back, side, and the front. So that is the front of the actual embroidery machine. The second part is this little guy. So this is the actual sort of sewing bed, sewing arm part, and it's the part that controls the hoop. So I'm gonna pull this out. Let me make sure that there's nothing else in the box, which I don't think there is. No. Okay. Let's go ahead and pop this open. So, as I said, this is the part that actually controls the hoop bit. So I'm going to take that tape off. If I can get it to stop sticking to me. Pop that off as well. And I think that's all for this little guy. Put him aside for a moment. Bring this one over and remove the tape from him. He's got a little styrofoam bit protecting the mechanics of the actual needle, which I don't think it, oh no it does, it has a needle already in. Oh, okay, so this one's got a piece of paper protecting the metal plate there. And there we go. Cool. There we are. So now I'm going to take this bit, and like most machines, it should just pop into place. Just like that. Bingo. Okay. How exciting. So there she is, all set up. So now I just need to plug it in and actually start having a play with it, really. So I'll show you real quick some of the parts of the machine. As you just saw, I popped open this little cover bit here, and the underside of this is where you have your spool holder for the thread that you're currently using on the embroidery design. The bobbin winder is here. It's very similar, again, to anyone who has a sewing machine or knows anything about a sewing machine. It's a very similar setup. The information to help you thread it is all here. So it says the 1, 2, round 4 down into here sort of setup. It's very, very similar. Sewing machines are relatively easy machines to use nowadays. And I'm, for the most part, I'm hoping, I've never used an embroidery machine before, but I have used a sewing machine for many, many years. I'm hoping this is relatively similar. That's why this machine is so recommended. It is recommended because it's a fairly easy machine to use and to learn. So I am hoping that is the case, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, install the software, and have a go at actually trying to use the machine. And I'll take you guys along with me for that part. Hi guys, so this is the actual software that I am using. The first level of this came free with the machine. It's a program called Embrilliance, and as I say, the first level of this actually came with the machine. It's really good for those who are just starting out with embroidery, who maybe want to purchase their own embroidery designs from places like Etsy. For me, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, so I actually had to upgrade to the highest tier of this, which was unfortunately quite pricey, but it's going to be worth it for me because I actually draw my own designs and I vectorize my own designs, and doing that in this software is a little bit tricky. It's not the kind of workflow that I'm used to, so I actually upgraded to the highest tier, which I think is something called Stitch Artist 3, and it's just easier for me to design things on my iPad and then import them in here and create the stitches once I've imported them. So I've created a small design, as you can see here. It's a little candy heart, so the phrase "bite me" on it, and yeah, it took a little bit of getting used to, trying to figure out how to actually work the software and get it to do what I wanted it to do, and learning how to create fill stitches and border stitches and applique and all that other stuff. It is a bit of a challenge. Once I learn it a little bit more, I might do some tutorial videos on how to do it, or at least how I do it, and show you sort of how I actually create a design in on my iPad and then import it into here to create the actual embroidery. But for now, this is kind of a small overview of what the software looks like. As I say, mine is actually the fully upgraded version, so it's not the version that you would get if you were just buying the starter pack. Like what I purchased with the machine. I should have probably filmed this before I upgraded it. But yeah, it's a relatively simple software to use. There's a lot of features, probably not as much as an artist like myself would like, as I say, but it's obviously it's meant for embroidery more so than drawing designs. So digitizing designs, and it's definitely better for that when you upgrade it to the full version. Yeah, so like I said, it's relatively easy to get used to when you are first using the starter pack. It's got, let's see if I can actually walk you through a little bit. So if I go to this little guy here, it's the Create tab. A lot of the things that you see on this toolbar you wouldn't have in the starter pack. This is something that only the ones who have Stitch Artist have, but some of the things you definitely will have. So these stitches here, you won't have all of them, but you will have a good amount of them. Let me see if I can just do a quick, I'll do a quick design for you. I'll show you. So if I click on this here, it's a selection of different shapes. I'm going to click the star shape, and I'm just going to drag it to create the shape. And you see this little green handle here in the middle. If I click on that and I move it around, it allows me to drag the shape around. Now, right now, there's no actual stitches applied to this shape. It is just simply a shape with nothing to it. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to create something with this. I'm going to do, say, a fill. So I say I want this whole thing to be filled with stitches. I want it to actually color this in, if you will, with stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to find the fill button, which is this guy right here, and I'm going to click fill, and you can see now what it's done is it's actually filled that shape now with stitches. If I zoom in, you can see it a little bit better. Oops. And what it's done is it's, like I said, it's filled that shape now for me with different stitches. And if I click on it again and select it, if you go down here to this thing called properties, you can actually see all the different things that you can do with that fill. So it says tatami at the moment. If I change it, if you watch the star, you see how it changes the texture of the stitches that are going to be applied. Snake, waves, you've got a whole list of things here that you can change it to, which is really cool. You can change the length of the stitch. You can change the color of the stitch. There are some things in here that I still haven't tinkered with properly, so I can't really give you an explanation on what they are definitively, but like I said, hopefully in another video I can get a little bit more in depth on these things once I've actually had a chance to learn this stuff myself. If I go into this tab up here called color and I click on that, it'll bring up a palette of colors. Now I'm using Hemingworth, As you can see, all of these are Hemingworth threads, and there's a massive library of the colors. But the cool thing about this software is it actually has a bunch of different palettes from a bunch of different suppliers. So any one of these I could click on and find their color palette here. So if you're using a different color of thread, or a different brand, excuse me, of thread, you can actually choose that color and get a good idea of what it's going to look like in your design. So I'm going to go back to Hemingworth, and I'm going to say I want this star to be, let's make it actually look like a proper star. Let's make it a yellow star. So I'm going to choose something, let's go with this one, lemon ice. So hit OK. Now say I want this star to actually be surrounded by a stitch, like a satin stitch. And a satin stitch is basically like a really thick border stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this and I'm going to paste over top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go up here to satin border, and I'm going to hit satin border. And you can see now I've got a big, thick satin border around the star. If I deselect it, you can actually see that back one pop in again. But I'm going to go ahead and select the one with the satin border again. It's a bit thick for me, so I'm going to go ahead and drop the stitch size down a little bit. It might be a little too thin. This is great for things like patches, where you can actually put a nice thick border around an item, and when you cut off the excess material, it's more like a patch. So now you can see there's a little star with a filled innerlay. So what's going to happen when I actually do send this file, we'll go ahead and move him out of the way. What's going to happen with this, so what's going to happen with this when I send this to the machine is, if this was gone, I'm not sure how to hide it, but what's going to happen is when I go to stitch the file, based on where the design sits here, this one's going to be the first thing that stitches out. So it's going to stitch out a full star, and then it's going to stitch out the satin border on top of it. And that's great. That's what I want. If I had it reversed the other way around, what it would end up doing was putting the fill on top of the satin border, and that would just look ridiculous. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. That's basically just a simple, really basic design. Like I said, there's a bunch of other different things in here that I can do with this software. I'm really looking forward to giving it a test. As I say, I've already created a couple of really simple designs for the Valentine's Day season. I've got some ideas for St. Patrick's Day as well, which I can't wait to try. Yeah, so I'm hoping to be able to do more tutorials on at least how I do it, how I actually do embroidery designs and what I do with this machine, because I'm really excited about bringing this kind of a line to my shop. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time now. And I'm really looking forward to trying something new. So I hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I'd like to really start growing the YouTube channel. I want to do a lot more tutorials and videos to help you guys maybe start your own creative businesses, or do, you know, just your own sort of artwork and designs and whatnot. And I think that would be a really fun thing to do. And I'm looking forward to growing the channel. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.